Hi and Merry Christmas, YouTubers. Hannah here, and I have another Zelda video. Today we're talking about, well, it's another Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess rant. Now, let's first talk about Skyward Sword. And, well, Bruce and his craziness in his, 50s hair. Don't know why he has that hair. He hates you in the beginning. And don't you just love, spoiler alerts here, how he freaks out on you when you actually make it down to the ground off Skylab? He's like, tiny birds, and what's that? No, really, what is that? When pointing to a Goron, I'm like, really, dude? What did you think? There was nothing but sky for the rest of eternity? There's got to be ground or land somewhere. And he's like, seriously, tell me, where are we? Seriously, I can take it. What is this? You can tell me. How's Zelda? I can take it. I'm like, really? He's like having a breakdown on you. Oh, but that brings me to Twilight Princess now. That's all I have to say on that. Now, Twilight Princess ranting. And speaking of breakdowns, Zant has the greatest one of all. First, his tongue looks like it's flowing lava. Maybe that's just me. I agree, his mouth does look like it's stitched together. He looks cool and confident, and then he loses it like a 5-year-old throwing a tantrum because they did not get the toy they wanted, and that's basically what he is. He's basically throwing a big fat tantrum like a 5-year-old who didn't get his toy during, well, Christmas or something. And I'm like, wow, that really takes away all his awesome, evil scariness when you realize, wait, he's acting like a 5-year-old and having a flipping tantrum on you. Huh. Interesting. He really loses his credibility when it goes full tilt loony on you and just loses it. He adopts the Gerudo double sword style too. Granted, his lord or master is Ganon, so okay, yeah, I can see that. But yeah, he goes full out on you, and it's like a 6-stage mini boss battle. I'm like, really? Of course. And I thought Ganondorf's Castle in Ocarina of Time was tough. Huh. This ain't got nothing on that. I'm like, ugh, great. Woo flippin' do. I'm like, ugh, just stab him in the eye or the heart or something. I'm like, go! Like, ah! It's annoying. Because they will not go down. But anyway, speaking of Zant, let's talk about another Twilight, a Twill. Midna. Now, Midna's a good one. She's good. I like Midna. She's awesome. She's just, I don't know. Maybe it's the color scheme of her skin. Maybe it's her attitude. How she starts out, literally using you as a slave in Wolflink form, which I'm going to talk about next. And then how she becomes your friend in that ending where she says Link and then nothing. Ugh. I wonder what she said. I hope she comes back because she's awesome. She's great. Love the color scheme. Love the hair. Love how she pops Zant like a freaking pimple balloon thing. I'm like, wow, that's... woo, what a way to go. But granted, she is the princess of the Twill or Twilight realm, and Zant did steal her throne. So I'm sure Zelda would feel the same way. Maybe not as brutal of a death, but yeah, probably something along the lines like, get off my throne, it's mine, or I will eviscerate you. Do you want to be gutted? I don't think so. I will hang you by your own intestines. But personally, that would be my reaction if someone stole my throne. I'd hang them by their own intestines because they rightfully deserve it. Now get off my throne, you cheat. But anyway, Midna is great. And also, I love how Link turned into Wolf Link. I'm like, wow. Well, that whole mirror shard business, ow. Ooh, that looked painful when I was watching. But Wolflink is awesome, still keeps the earrings, and the first time I saw Lanru, I was like, what is that thing? That thing's on our side. I'm like, oh god. And then I was like, oh, it's the crocodile snake thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but saying crocodile snake thing makes it less terrifying. But really, if you take a close look, at least to my eyes, it looks like maybe a crocodile. And then the body... head of a crocodile, body of a snake. And it actually looks pretty cool once I got over the blinding light energy ball it was holding in its mouth. I was like, oh, I was blinded by that. But then I got used to it, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Lanru is cool. I love the little light energy well she or he or it sleeps in. But that whole, speaking of, while I'm talking about these 3 subsequent things that kind of all go together, all 5 of these things kind of go together, so I'm not just rambling incoherently here. That cutscene that Lanru gives you about the whole goddess Triforce greed thing, I was like, whoa, that's okay, that's interesting. I'm like, oh dear, that's crazy. That is, whoa. I was like, wow. The first time I saw it, I was like, wow. I had nothing to say. I was like, wow. Okay, Nintendo really knows how to up the, it wasn't necessarily creepy. It's more like a psychological terror creepy type of a thing. It's more psychological horror. Very Saw Jigsaw, don't you think? I do. But I just made this connection about Ocarina of Time. I just watched a Let's Play, and the whole 6 beams holding up Ganon's Dark Castle are just like the 6 like invisible laser beams holding up the Black Tower in Stephen King's The Black Tower series. Because if you remember, in the last book, the 8th book, The Black Tower, there are 6 invisible like beams holding up that tower, and the king is the Red King, and Ganondorf has red hair. So yeah, and the king's the Red King, and there's magic involved, and there's giant spiders involved too. And I'm like, wait a second, why does that seem oddly familiar? You climb the steps round and round and round to the top, and the whole entire thing comes down on you too, I think. And there's warp portals, or what I can assume to be warp portals. So I'm like, wait a second, why does this seem kind of oddly familiar? And then it hit me. Stephen King's The Black Tower series, the 8th book. Go read it again if you haven't. The Black Tower series of Stephen King is great. But yeah, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll be like, oh yeah, the 6 invisible beams holding it up, and the 6 guardians. Yeah, remember that giant electronic bear that almost got Eddie? Totally sidestepping here, but yeah, and there are 6 guardians for that too. Like, one's a bear, one's a turtle. Kind of reminds me of the turtle in Majora's Mask as well. You start to see where I'm getting here? Yeah, I suddenly realized that during the Let's Play. I'm like, wait, why does this seem like something I've seen or read before? Sorry for looking away. I'm looking at my vintage Mickey poster from my 80th anniversary Pez collection. My parents got me this for Christmas. Another little side quest thing, but yeah. I like it, it's cool. But yeah, so that suddenly hit me like over the head. It was like hitting a brick wall. I was suddenly like, wait a second. Oh, wait, this seems familiar, yet not familiar. And heck, even the zombie-fied people of Tull in the first book, or during like the Wastelands book with Susanna and Eddie, there are plenty of these zombified, brainwashed people. These people are all brainwashed, like the people in Link's Awakening or A Link to the Past. All the Hyrule soldiers are brainwashed. You're starting to see where I'm getting at? I'm now wondering what else would be similar to Stephen King the more I think about it, because I'm like, wait a second. And Roland has a horse, and he goes to save these people, and blah blah blah, and makes these friends, a lot of people dying. I'm starting to be like, wait, and there's a desert, and he's chasing this shadow man, and kind of Vati-ish a little bit. I'm like, wait a second, why does this seem familiar? So yeah, I wonder what other things we could link up between Stephen King and Zelda. What you're thinking? Zelda? Stephen King? Crossing paths? What? Totally like not what you would expect at all, but you'll see where I'm coming from if you read the Dark Tower series. You'll be like, oh yeah, the 6 beams, the Black Tower. I'm like, wait a second, why does this seem familiar? And then it hit me. So that gets me wondering what else. Inform me in comments what else may be paralleled in Zelda to Stephen King, which I find fascinating because I love Stephen King. My aunt has collected the books, no lie, for 20 years. She's had the same books for 20 years. My mom spent $3,000 on an autographed first edition. No, really, she did, for her birthday once. Stephen King is fantastic, as are the Saw movies. Watched them all, never flinched a muscle. I love horror movies, but that's totally other videos. So I think that's all I have to say. I think I've ranted enough, and comment, tell me what else is parallel between Zelda and Stephen King's novels, Dark Tower series, or other ones you can tell me about. And yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and Happy New Year.